Well, so today we are starting with the inference rules. Inference rules. Earlier we did in the lecture was the inference, what is inference and how do we work with the inference in set theories. Today we are going to see what are the inference rules which are defined and which are easy to give the solution for the problems. Now, when we define the inference, first of all, inference is what? Inference is a technique by which given set of facts or postulates F1, F2, F3, Fn, whatever the number is, and a goal is to be derived. That means what is inference? Inference is a technique in which we have a given set of facts. Now, what are these facts? These facts can also be stated as postulates, and these set of facts are f1 to fn. It can be any number. There can be two facts, there can be three facts, or n number of facts. And what are we going to derive from these particular facts? We are going to derive a goal that is called as the g. So in the inference we have number of facts which are termed to be as facts or postulates, or also called as premises, and we get a solution which can be called as a goal. Now, moving further, see in the inference we have three types of rules in which we define the proposition logic. So we should understand the three inference rules which are very important. Basically, the two inference rules are used very much. Third rule also used in the solving of problems. These particular are three, that is modus ponens. Second one is termed as modus tollens, and third one is called as the chain rule. Among these three, you must be familiar with the chain rule, which is a simple rule which you must have studied earlier also. So we are going to see how these particular three rules are used and defined in the fuzzy theory. Now, first one is modus ponens. See, basically, what we have done is inference. We all know what is inference. Inference is we have two or three or any number of facts which are termed to be as premises, and we get a goal. A goal is derived from that, right? So let's take an example and understand what modus ponens is. Now, in this, we have two premises out here. So premises can also be called as the facts. They can also be called as facts, and they can also be called as postulates. So there are three names which can be given to these: premises, facts, or postulates. Postulates, which is defined in the earlier slide also. Okay. So this is what first premises says, that X is A. Now, second premises says if X is A, then Y is B, right? So what is the goal? What is the consequence of these two facts? We have got these two facts. Now I'm going to derive a goal out of these. That means what will be the consequence of these? See, if X is A, and if X is A, then Y is B. So consequence is what? Consequence is Y is B. So what is the goal? Goal is Y is B. So there are two things in inference. One is the premises and second one is as the goal. So the two facts are the premises in this, and the second thing is the goal. That is the consequence of these two facts. That is what, which is termed to as Y is B. So modus ponens is associated with the implication A implies B. So A implies B is defined out here. Now how it goes? Let's understand modus ponens. This was just a concept of inference. Now see, let's take the condition that given is P implies Q. We all know what does implies means. We have done in the earlier lecture. So P implies Q, and this is the first truth. This is the first fact, in fact. First premises, and the second premises is P is to be true. So P implies Q is true and P is also true. So what does this mean? This means that we can derive easily that Q is also true. This is the goal. Okay, so these two are what? These two are premises or facts or postulates Fine. And this is what? This is the goal. Goal is what we can derive out of the facts, out of the two facts. So whenever the modus ponens is there, so modus ponens defines that if P implies Q and P is there, both are true, that means Q is also going to be true. So this is how we are going to write it. This is the way we are going to write it. P implies Q. P gives what? Q. This is actually the AND operation we are performing. We should understand this also. P implies Q and operation. That means the conjunction P will give you Q. So in terms of propositions P and Q, the modus ponens is expressed as this. So this is how we are going to express the modus ponens. What is it? P implies Q, first thing, the first fact. This is P implies Q. We are conjuncting it with the P. So this is the sign of conjunction. We all know that is the addition, sorry, and operation. So this is conjunction and operation. We are ANDing it with the P. So this is the second fact as P. So these are two facts or premises which have AND operation being performed. And what I get is, I get, this implies what? This implies Q. So this is what Q is. Here it is written in capitals and here it is written in small letters. So this is what we have, that is P. If P implies Q and P is true, so that means Q is also true. This is what the proposition we get in modus ponens. I hope this is clear to you. Second one, now let's see, let's understand with the help of an example also. When I'm saying that these are in terms of, variables, but we can see in the terms of theoretical example also. It is saying if there are no bugs, then the program compiles. That means this is, let's say, P. If there are no bugs, this is P, then the program compiles. Program compiles is what? Q. So this is what? This is implication. P implies Q. That means if there are no bugs, then the program compiles. There are no bugs. This is what? This is P. So what I'm doing? I'm conjuncting P implies Q with P. These are what? These two are the facts or premises or postulates. And what I get the program compiles. This is what? This is Q. This is Q. So you can just understand, if there are no bugs, then the program compiles. And when it is saying there are no bugs, so that means the program compiles. That is what it is. Second, we have taken, let's say, the opposite thing. We have taken, if there are no bugs, then the program compiles. The program compiles. What does this mean? If the program compiles, that means there are no bugs. So this is what? This is the another form in which we have P implies Q. And we are ANDing it with what? We are ANDing it with Q. And what we are getting? We are getting P. Isn't it? So this is what we are getting. And how do we derive this? We can derive it with the help of, let's say I'm working with the second form. I'm working for this particular equation, how I'm going to express the modus ponens. Q and operation, P implies Q. P implies Q. Sorry. Yes, P implies Q. Bracket close. This will give what? This implies P. This is what? This is the modus ponens expression for the second one, for this one. For the second one. For first one, what it will be? It will be P and operation. P implies Q will give Q. So this is what the modus ponens example defines. Now moving further to the second one, which is termed to be as the modus tollens. Now what is modus tollens? The concept is same. The only thing or the only difference is we have here the work of negation. That means not is working out here. In this again, we have two premises. We have what? We have two premises. First one and the second one, also called as the facts and postulates. First premises is what? First premise is saying Y is not B. Okay, it is saying y is not b. And second premise, it is saying if x is a, then y is b. Consequence is what? X is not a. So it is saying if x is a, that means x implies y. Okay, so in this what? X implies, a implies y. And what is the second premise? It is y is not b. Y is not b means, sorry, this is a implies b. A implies b. And second one is y is not b. That means negation b. So the consequence will be, consequence is negation a. Okay. So again, we are taking it in the consideration how we are going to write the modus tollens form. That is, let's say we have been given as P implies Q and negation Q to be true. That means these two are true. And then we are performing the AND operation, again the conjunction. What we get is negation P, just the opposite form of this. That means of modus ponens. There we were doing P implies Q. If Q is there, that means we have to get the consequence, the goal as P. But here it is, if P implies Q and we have negation Q also true. So that means the consequence or the goal we achieve is the negation P. In terms of propositions, P and Q, the modus tollens is expressed at this form. How this form? See, negation Q, we are ANDing it, AND operation is being performed, so the symbol of AND operation. Then we have P implies Q as the second fact. So P implies Q in the braces. And what we get is, what is the goal we are achieving? We get the negation P. Okay, so this is how we are going to define and the derive of the modus tollens. We are going to use these particular rules in the questions. So we should understand it well. Now third rule is what? This is the simplest rule we have. That is the chain rule. What does the chain rule says? Given if P implies Q, if P implies Q and Q implies R to be true, that says what? P implies R is true. So that is means how we are going to write. Again, there are two premises. P implies Q and Q implies R. What we get, what we achieve, what is the goal? We get the goal as P implies R. It's the formation of P implies Q braces conjunction. Q implies R. That means what? That means what we are going to get? We are going to get P implies R. So simplest form of chain rule you must have studied is if A is equal to B, B is equal to C, that means A is equal to B, right? If Ram likes Sham, Sham likes Ravi, so that means what? That means Ram likes Ravi. So this is what the chain rule is being defined out here. So what we are going to do, these are the three rules. Now we are going to take a query or an example or question to solve and use these particular rules. How we are going to use these rules. Let's take the example. We have been given three equations. We have three equations. One is negation H implies A conjunction negation B. Second one, we have equation C disjunction D implies negation H. And third equation we have is A conjunction with negation B. What we get implies R disjunction S. Now, the question is, can R disjunction S be inferred from the above? This means I have been given these three equations. Now I have to infer this particular R conjunction S. Now it is asking, can we infer R conjunction S from these above equations? So yes, we can, by using the two things, by using two rules in this. What two rules are? We have basically three rules that we have studied, that is modus ponens, modus tollens, and the chain rule. Here we are going to use two rules, that is we are going to use the chain rule and use the modus ponens. How we are going to see this? As you see here, we have what? We have H negation, which is implying A conjunction negation B, C disjunction D, which implies negation H, and A conjunction negation B, which implies R disjunction S. So let's take equation 1 and 3. We have just named it. This is equation 1, this is equation 2, and this is equation 3. So I'm taking equation 1 and equation 3, these two equations. Can you see something? Let's say negation H is what? Negation H is P, and this implies to Q. This is P, this is Q, and this is Q, and this is something else. Let it be R. So what we get? This is the chain rule. P implies Q, Q implies R. That means P implies R. So we can use the chain rule out here. What we have defined? We have defined. That means what? That means negation H implies R disjunction S. That is what we have inferred out here with the help of 1 and 3 using the chain rule. Now what we are doing? We are using the modus ponens rule. Fine. This is the thing we have done. We have taken two equations and we have applied the chain rule and we have achieved this. Right. Now we are using what? Modus ponens. Modus ponens, we are using these two equations, that is negation H. This is next equation, fourth equation we have got. This is the fourth equation, and with this equation we are using negation H. So what it is? Negation H implies R disjunction S when it is done with the negation H. See, if I consider this as P, negation H as P, and H as negation P, I'm taking this as P and I'm taking this as Q, and I'm conjuncting it with Q. So P implies Q, conjunction with P, this gives what? This gives you Q. So what I got? I got R disjunction S, and this is what I have to infer. So I have inferred this particular expression with the help of the chain rule and the modus ponens rule, which are the two inference rules we have used in this particular format, right? So that's all for today's class. Thank you very much.